About a year ago, like every other millennial hipster photographer that wears jean jackets, I went down a rabbit hole of buying 35mm film cameras and trying all these different types of 35mm film stock. And one of the film stocks that I fell in love with most, and I'm gonna tell you why because it's super relevant to the product we're talking about today, is CineStill 800T. Here's some shots that I've taken with CineStill 800T, and there's one thing I want you to notice within these shots, and that is the halation around the lights. And what halation is basically that blooming glow that is surrounding street lights and neon signs, and anywhere there's a light reflection, you're gonna see this glow that's coming from there. That is actually happening because of the chemicals and the way that they process that film. But I'm gonna show you today a way to get that same halation, like a CineStill 800 look, with any camera, thanks to these brand new Moment CineBloom filters. Part of the reason I went down that path of just experimenting with film and experimenting with 35mm cameras is I was just starting to get tired of the clean or clinical look that digital cameras provide. I just feel like sometimes they're just a bit too sterile. They're obviously too sharp. I know a lot of people out there love a crazy sharp image. I specifically am not one of those people. Moment's new CineBloom filters are essentially diffusion filters. If you're not familiar with what a diffusion filter is, you may have heard of a Black Pro-Mist filter. This is basically an industry standard diffusion filter. You see it on music videos, you see it on commercials. What's happening is it's adding just a softness in front of your lens. You've probably seen even hacks where people will take Vaseline or olive oil, whatever, you know, lube. I personally like diffusion filters so much, I've actually left a 1/2 strength diffusion filter on my X100 because I just prefer the way lights look and street lights and neon and all that stuff when I'm doing street photos with a diffusion filter in front of the camera. I think the best way to just describe a diffusion filter like the CineBloom is to show you. So here you can see the diffusion is off, and when I add the filter, you can see how much softer it goes. It's also decreasing a whole bunch of contrast. So you're going from a more punchy, crunchy image to a low contrast, soft image. Now, if you're someone who does a lot of fashion work, if you're even doing music videos, I think this is great because it's actually a really cool and distinct look. For some people, it might be too much. It's an entirely subjective thing. The good thing is Moment is coming out with two strengths. There's a 10% and a 20%. I only have the 20%, but there's a lot of videos coming out today where you can check out examples with the 10%. And I actually want to talk about the price first because I think it has huge implications on your decision process into what diffusion filter you will buy. You will see lots of videos all over YouTube talking about Black Pro-Mist filters and the various strengths that you can get, but ProMist filters are gonna push closer to $100. The CineBloom filters are only $49 USD. And if you look at side by sides, I know my buddy Spencer is gonna have a video comparing all these filters. It's really hard for me to justify an extra $50 to $100 to go to a Black Pro-Mist over the Moment CineBloom. And I think that'll really become apparent when you see just how well these filters perform. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break this down into two segments, the daylight segment and the night segment. So if you wanna skip to either of those, you can go ahead and do that now, but we're gonna dive into the daylight segment testing the 20% CineBloom. So to give this a shot, I put it on the Pocket 4K, and I also used Moment's variable ND, the ND4 to 32, I think it is, yeah, the ND4 to 32 with the Moment CineBloom, because you can actually layer these up if you need to, so you can throw your lens, then the CineBloom, and then your variable ND, so you're basically stacking filters as you need them. But me and my girlfriend, we went out, and I basically just wanted to shoot a simple, kind of small, short, fashion editorial type video. It's kind of like an H&M commercial or something like that, or the Gap even. And basically what I wanted to showcase is how the highlight roll-ups and how it deals with skin tones and how it feels about how sharp a person's face may look and how low contrast it even looks. So first off, let's enjoy the daylight test footage of the Moment CineBloom, and then after that, we're gonna talk about it very briefly, and then we'll dive into the night footage, which I'm extremely excited about. It's funny, when I first put the CineBloom on my camera, I was like, whoa, this thing is strong. 20% is a strong strength for a diffusion filter. It's probably closer to like a 1/2 on a Black Pro-Mist, which I'm used to on the photo side, but it's definitely something that could take a little bit getting used to on the video side. But I think my initial hesitation was actually wrong, because after I brought it into post, and maybe you feel this way too, but after seeing the footage, I think it looks absolutely fantastic, especially if you're doing fashion stuff or music videos or things that aren't necessarily that crispy quality that you want. You actually want to introduce a little bit of low contrast. You want things to feel a little bit softer. I just love how it makes skin feel really, really smooth and soft. And I also love how it deals with flaring. So if you hit the sun just a certain way, almost the entire image is going to bloom right up and go pure white almost. And I think that's just a really cool dreamlike quality that is very interesting for fashion work or even portraiture work too. If I had to pick between the 20% and the 10% for daylight work, I'd probably pick the 10%. Now I of course don't have the 10% with me, but knowing how ProMist works and there's various strengths, I think a 10% is a really good happy medium and a good place to be for daylight work. But as we talk about night stuff, which we're gonna get into right now, the 20% really comes to life when you're outside at night. This is where I really love the CineBloom. I think this is where I'm actually getting that CineStill 800T look that I like from film with video. You can see just how neon signs come alive, the way the street lights glow and headlights. I'm so in love with this aesthetic and this vibe that I'm probably gonna always be shooting night stuff now with the Moment CineBloom. We talked about earlier between the 10% and the 20% for daylight, and I still would agree that I think the 20% is fantastic for night stuff, especially if you really want that glow to come from your street lights and your light sources. But then again, the 10% would still be nice, it just wouldn't be as strong, of course, right? To make it easier for you, I would probably say just get both, because for the price of two of them, you're basically getting one Black Pro-Mist. So you're getting the 10% and the 20% for essentially the price of one strength of a Pro-Mist. So it's kind of a no-brainer in my opinion. So if you're feeling it's too strong, switch to the 10%. If you're feeling it's not enough, switch to the 20%. I think it's just such a no-brainer buy. And if you're someone who wants to experiment with night footage or some more dreamlike fashion editorial stuff, the Moment CineBloom is an absolutely fantastic filter. Moment, you guys are crushing it with these pro level gear things for such affordable prices. It's kind of insane. I'm really excited to see what you guys do next. I say this in every video when you guys come out with a new product, but Moment is crushing it, guys. You gotta check these things out. These filters are awesome. I think that's it. I think that'll wrap up this video, but let me know in the comments what you think of it. Let me know what you thought of this video in general. If you have questions, you have comments, you wanna just have a chit chat, let me know. Hey, we made another video. That giveaway's coming soon for the 20,000 subscribers. Again, thank you to all of you because you're wonderful, and you'll see me next time I feel like making a video. Cheers. Right, so I have just built a portable A-roll setup using the Pocket 4K and this iFootage monopod. And so I can basically take this wherever I want. I've got a D3 Pro on the top here, just with like this cheap microphone arm from Newer or whatever on Amazon. It's just clamped to the back of the Pocket 4K here. I've got it all caged out with a V-mount battery, SSD, all that kind of 9 yards. And then I can just kind of sit down here and you can see that I've got A-roll. But the cool thing is I can take this wherever I want because it's just chilling on this little guy right here. So that's pretty sweet.